This is Straight Talk with Enlivening Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and his sidekick Shanan Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fann, the Preacher Man.
Well, welcome today to another exciting edition of Straight Talk with your truly Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shanan E. Jones. That's right, Shanan E.
So glad to be in studio with you today.
Oh man, I'm so glad you're here today. I don't know what to do, man. That's why the weather done changed.
You sent me that check. Thank you for that check.
Yeah, I did check you. I checked you out.
You're telling me all this stuff about why I'm not here.
Hey, go again with it. With the story.
Did we not go to the bank today?
We did go to the bank today. We did. We went to the bank. We did. I mean, I will tell the truth. We did go to the bank, yes, but not with my money, with his money. With his money. But you know, I want to just say to those who are watching the program and everything, and Brother Keith Hillsman, who had told us this week how much he enjoyed the program. Keith, to give you a shout out today, my brother.
Hey, Keith.
To Keith Gamage, our Solicitor General. Yes, sir. Give me a shout out today. You know, we're getting ready for these elections. Now, we're getting ready for these elections. Early voting begins May the 2nd. Find out your early voting places so you can go early vote. And the election is going to be, for the primary, is going to be on the 24th. Check your voting precinct. Check where you are to vote. And I would suggest that you would go out to the Secretary of State office, go out and look at that site, and it can tell you if you're still a registered voter. If you haven't registered to vote, then get in there, get ready and get ready to vote. All elections are important, but this is an important election because of all the laws that have been changed around voting. What'd you say, Shanan?
I say Kemp had that gun in that truck, and you say it's election time. Where's that gun in that truck now?
Well, he's got everybody getting guns now. Anybody can get the gun.
I don't see him with that gun. Now that Trump is all over him, I don't see him with that gun in that truck no more.
Yeah, but he made sure everybody else got a gun.
Constitutional carry.
Yep, constitutional carry.
You gonna get a gun?
Man, let me tell you something. You know my gun is. Listen what I said. Jesus is my rock, my sword and shield.
Don't be talking that now. You know
he's a wheel in the middle of the wheel.
You don't want Pookie and them to hear that.
Well, Pookie,
they'll try you, Lord.
Let me tell you something. Well, you know, if they try the Lord, then
well, he's merciful.
Well, if they
he'll try to come in that window because your gun is merciful.
Well, I put it like this.
Your gun is not merciful.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna put it like this right here, Shanan.
My dogs.
I'm gonna say it like this, Shanan, so you'll understand.
Oh, you're gonna take.
I don't have to have a gun.
Oh, here we go.
I don't have to have a gun.
I'm nonviolent too.
Don't sound like it to me.
I'm telling you, the reason why countries get nuclear bombs is so they don't have to use them.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I went out there and they decided to cross in front of my house. They still broke in. So I said, look, now, y'all didn't see this, so now I'm going to do, it's like the old preacher. Remember the preacher? The preacher that was preaching on Sunday, he said, the Lord will fight your battles.
Yeah.
And then next Sunday, he said, the Lord going to fight your battles for you. And one Sunday, he read back and said, the Lord will fight your battles. And when he read back, that robe went back, and there was a big old 357 Magnum on the side. And one of the sisters came up and said, Rev, I thought you said the Lord will fight our battles. Mm-hmm. He said he will. It's just a time up to the Lord get it.
Well, you know, Shanan, with that being said, you know, this new gun law that's been passed.
It's terrible.
It's awful, really it is awful. Everybody can get a gun, you can get a gun, and it get your gun. But all the killing and stuff that's going on around here now, they passed a law in the state of Georgia that you can now buy a gun without having a license. And I believe they say you can even carry the gun without having a license.
Constitutional carry.
Yeah.
But if you've got mental problems. So now, you know, they're going to start telling black people, now they're going to recognize post-traumatic slavery syndrome and say, no, y'all can't have no guns.
They'll start taking guns back.
They'll start taking them from us. until it's regained. But now they're saying that as long as you're not a convicted felon, and then if you are not registered some kind of way to a point where your mental illness issue or mental health issue renders you not to be one of good judgment and with a gun, then you can have. That's a whole lot of folk.
But that's the kind of that's
subjective, you think?
Yeah, it
don't have papers now.
But no, but let's
you've been through Milledgeville.
Hold on for a minute now. What if you ain't been through Milledgeville? I mean, what if you don't know yet? Yeah. What about? I mean, all these people, say you can get a gun, but these are the stipulations. But you have to have some way to catch that. Because are the gun sellers going to be able to catch that? Since you don't have to apply for the background check no more. I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
if they got something on you, but if you are currently crazy, I shouldn't say crazy. If you are currently, if you are currently experiencing mental health challenges that cause you to be mentally ill to the point that you should not have a water gun, a BB gun, or an AK-47, then, but you don't have papers, then they're going to have to let you go with the gun, carry it, and then when you walk up somewhere with the gun, God forbid it, and do something crazy, then they're going to say, oh, this person can't get the next round of gun. He can't get another gun. Something wrong with him. By that time, society is in danger. All kidding aside.
Well, not all kidding aside, for real. Somebody's dead. Somebody's been injured.
Now you say this person
shouldn't have had a gun. Should not have.
Which is why they had background checks to begin with. But it's not about common sense. It's about getting elected. What's the most asinine thing? So the question becomes, what the heck is wrong with your base if this is the kind of stuff that gets you to be able to? But then it also ties to fear too.
Well, but
Mandingo is going up to Buckhead and But
let me tell you something. When their kids start being killed by their kids, then they're going to rethink what they did. This is the worstest law that I've ever seen in my life. Annie, get your gun. Gun sales are going to go up. Bullet sales, ammunition sales is going up. And people are going to be getting shot down like dogs. They're already being shot down
like dogs.
Yeah. But it's going to be exacerbated even more. But we're going to talk more. We got a lot of other stuff we want to talk about right here today on Straight Talk. We want to hear your opinion. Like us, make comments, and do share with your Facebook friend. But right now, you know what we're going to do? I'm so glad to have Shanan in the studio today. I don't know what to do. I'm so glad to see him in the studio today. But I want to. Yeah, I know it.
You get big segment in here.
That ain't no. That right there is reason it's dark in your house. You like the mood, but anyway.
I didn't know it was so bright. I say that was so.
Hey, listen. We're going to go here and we're going to listen to Miss C. And Miss C with her news and Straight Talk information. Hey, Miss C.
Hi, Miss C here with your 3-minute news or more. Hey, Greg. Hey, Shanan. Listen, I had all kind of problems trying to bring the news to you today, so I'm here in my office. Sorry, it's so junky. But anyway, I'm here in my office. I had lighting problems. I had audio problems. But I was not to be deterred. I said I was going to bring you the news no matter what. So if you just kind of put up with me, I appreciate it. Okay, listen, there's going to be a free food drive-through. Boxes of food are going to be given away April 16th from 10 to 2 at In His Great Name Ministries. They're at 81 Dodge Street in Fairburn, Georgia. Call 770-964-8364 to get more information. That's 770-964-8364 to find out about the free food drive-through boxes of food giveaway on April 16th. Okay, Gun Safety Symposium 2.0 will be held April 9th from 10:45 a.m. until noon at Restoration Christian Fellowship Center, 2451 Roosevelt Highway in College Park. You can register at Eventbrite for Gun Safety Symposium 2.0 April 9th, 10:45 until noon. All right. New Zion Baptist at 2100 Abner Place in Northwest Atlanta will hold Spring Revival April 13th through the 15th, 7:30 p.m. nightly with guest speaker Bishop L. Dante Smith as guest evangelist. You can also watch virtually on Facebook Live. And if you missed any of this, just rewind me, okay? And listen, there are 3 things I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to like us, and I'd like for you to subscribe to us, and I'd like for you to share us, okay? And let everybody know about Straight Talk News, okay? And listen, I will see you right back here next week, same time, same bat channel. Bye.
Well, Miss C is always, she's always doing a great job. She's very comical, isn't she?
Extremely comical.
Yeah, she is.
And I'm noticing that people are starting to send her fish fries and stuff. We told them, don't be sending. Miss C is too important and too busy to be going through the fish fry and the deacon board meetings and stuff. Please, sir, please, ma'am, respect the institution that is Miss C and send her what is truly news, fourth estate, ready stuff. Don't care about the car wash, this, that, and the other. Little children, Easter egg hunt. The eggs were spoiled. 3 or 4 of the kids got sick, had to go get a tetanus shot. Miss C ain't got time for all that. That's all I'm trying to say.
You can tell he hadn't been here a long time because he had diarrhea of the mouth. You can tell it, y'all. You know, he's so happy to be back. He doesn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do. But I'm glad to have you back, though. I'm really glad to have you back. But Miss C, yeah, doing a great job. And send that news and newsworthy news to straighttalknews@gmail.com. And if you'd like to be a guest on the program, we'd love to have you. All you have to do is send it again, just straighttalknews@gmail.com, and we'll get back with you and get you scheduled for a program. Now, Shannon, you know, we just had something, you know, we've been on this January 6th thing, and we told the people we're going to be on it, and now we have 3 more people that's being held in contempt for not coming and testifying before the January 6th committee.
Meadows, Scavino, and Navarro.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So they are now being held in contempt.
See, I told you was in the hood. I told you. See, we are taping. And you now go on out there and tell them who your protection is. Go on, are they banging on the door?
And Lord, let me just pray. Father, help this young man as he needs help so badly, for he is going down the wrong track.
The wrong track.
Lord, help him in Jesus' name. Amen. But anyway, getting back to the January 6th committee and what's really taking place. You know, we talked about last week, we talked about Clarence Thomas and his recusal, should be recusing himself as being an associate judge, hearing cases that may have some connotation of his wife's involvement in the January 6th insurrection. So I don't want to call it a tourist trip, touring the Capitol, but I call it an insurrection. But anyway,
a tourist insurrection.
Yeah, a tourist insurrection. Tourists were definitely insurrecting. They were tearing the Capitol down. I mean, you know, that would be interesting to find out how much money they had to spend to repair all the damages they made on that day.
Oh man, that's a lot of, and not only that, but the security things that they had to go and change because the building was breached in such a way.
Yeah.
To try to make sure that kind of stuff doesn't happen. And we were there afterwards.
We
saw how they beefed up security and all that. So folks are, you know, working around the clock to secure it. You know, thank God it wasn't Black Lives Matter.
Ooh,
decided to go in there and stop something.
Jesus. Well,
imagine if we just came down to the Capitol and tried to stop Signing Die.
Ooh. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, and then we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's Sunny Die here. At Sunny Dye here. Under the Demon Dome. Let's talk about what happened on Sunny Dye. On Sunny Dye, they never do this at the Capitol. Never do this at the Capitol. They ask for your ID, your driver's license, and information. And when you share your driver's license and your information, then you go on in, right? Do the medical check. How about on Sunny Dye this year, that they not only asked for your driver's license, they actually ran warrants to see if you had warrants or any convictions or anything before you could go in that building. And we had an individual who was arrested because he had an outstanding bench warrant for a traffic ticket. I mean, they were all out trying to discourage people to come to the Capitol on Sunday night because of so many bad bills that were being introduced.
And Calvin Smiley's last day.
His last day.
His last day after 48 years. So people were going down. So like the famed Atlanta movement photographer, Clyde Bradley, went down, and they asked for his ID. He didn't have it. He gave him his social, and unbeknownst to him, he had missed a court date, and they put a bench warrant on him. To his great embarrassment, they took him out and sat him down, put troopers on him, and arrested him for going down to the Capitol and to capture the history of that moment, of what was going on with the bills and the exit of the dean of the legislature, who would be our brother Calvin Spire after 48 years. So absolutely terrible what was going on. And Sine Die, just in case you don't know, that word means yippee. Yippee, meaning yippee.
Yep. We done it.
What is yippee about giving everybody a gun to carry, putting a gun in everybody's hand, creating the Wild Wild West in Atlanta, in the state of Georgia? What is yippee about doing that? What's yippee about stripping people of their constitutional rights, voting rights, and limiting limiting the rights that people have, taking away their rights, eroding their rights? What's yippee about that?
Where's yippee ki-yay?
Don't say the last part. Bruce Willis will say the last part. Bruce Willis will say the last part.
Yippee-ki-yay! Y'all know the last part. You've seen it. But anyway, we're going to get back to this insurrection, and let's listen to Senator Thompson, who's the chair of the committee, and also Mrs. Liz Cheney, who was the vice chair, Democrat and a Republican, who headed up the committee dealing with the insurrection, as they bring before the full Senate the charges against these gentlemen and what was the outcome. We'll be back on the other side with myself and Shanan E. Jones.
It doesn't matter that if they were a father, a mother, a sister, a brother, had children. If they break the law, they break the law. No one's above the law, and that's what the point we're trying to make.
There is no such thing in America as the privileges of the crown. Every citizen has a duty to comply with a subpoena. Too many Republicans are once again ignoring the rulings of the courts, as many of them did in the run-up to January 6th. Mr. Speaker, the tale of what happened following the 2020 election, resulting in the violence of January 6th, is a tale of stunning deceit. It is a tale of lies about our election and contempt for the rulings of our courts. The election claims made by Donald Trump were so frivolous and so unfounded that the president's lead lawyer did not just lose these cases, he lost his license to practice law.
And now we turn back to the story we've been tracking with breaking news. The House now voting moments ago here, just in the last few minutes, to formally hold the two men you see on your screen, Trump aides Peter Navarro and Dan Scavino in criminal contempt of Congress. This is what Democrats had projected. They did hold together in the final vote. You see here, 220 in favor of contempt, 203 against. And that updates to now 4 former Trump aides who served in the White House here or were otherwise former White House officials at the time of the insurrection. In the case of Bannon, these 4 have all been now held in contempt by the full Congress. One of them has been indicted. Steve Bannon is the only one to face that indictment. If you are wondering about the process, we do know that the men you see on the right side of your screen, Scavino and Navarro, held in contempt tonight for the first time by the full Congress. That contempt case now goes to the DOJ, which will decide whether or not to indict either of them.
Boy, I tell you, man, you know, these guys got some gonads, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they really do. This democracy has been on trial ever since Donald Trump has been president and was president of the United States. His cronies, the Green Bay sweep guy. I mean, he writes a book about their plan to rig the election. And now, but he don't want to go before the committee to testify about the plan that he wrote a book about. Right. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, these people are something else. And Ivanka, his daughter, Jerry, his son-in-law, they did testify before the committee, and they worked actually really for the government. Yeah, and these people did too. But I mean, good God, I'm like, wow, man. I mean, they work for Trump. I mean, good God, wait. This is just crazy that a man will write a book about how we were going to rig this election, overturn this election, and yet now he wants to testify. He won't testify. Man, these people are, now you're talking about mobsters,
and
gangsters.
Don't forget that the defense attorney lost his license. Defending this.
Ain't that something? Shanan, it's just too much. It's too much.
Sometimes ain't no words to be said. I just want to do that. That's the old folks do, just widow.
No, what you want to say? Yippee!
I mean, it's something.
Yeah, but you know, yippee, their trunk is gone, and hopefully all of this stuff will come out, and it won't be long. You know, I mean, it'll come out what really went on, how they try to overthrow this government from a democracy into a dictatorship, and you still have people there that's under that in D.C. Like Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, who flips and flops. I mean, good God, he's just flipping and flopping, man. 37 years, Mitch, go home. Then you have Lindsey Graham, who just flip flopper, and then cursing out people, and you know, then talked about Miss Brown Jackson Katanji, like, I mean, the man who was with her thought she was a great person to be a judge, with the same credentials when he voted for her, and then he turns around and now he votes against her. I mean, it's not about America anymore. No. It's about, as you say all the time, playing to their base. It's
playing to your base.
Yeah.
It's politics.
It's politics.
So this country is no longer governed by laws. It's governed by political theatrics.
A lot of them.
Such as, we're going to go to some good news.
No.
Such as the Republicans walking out on yesterday.
Oh, man.
Walking out on yesterday.
Oh, man.
On the newly confirmed Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who will not be a justice officially until July after the session when Breyer ends. Mm-hmm. But she is confirmed as a Supreme Court justice. And what do? They turn
and walk away
and turn their back on it and walk out of the Senate.
You know, Mitt Romney.
You know what that reminded me of? I wonder about Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
When Jesse Owens
won
the Olympics.
Yeah.
Hitler spit on the ground and turned and walked away.
Yeah, he did. But you know, Mitt Romney stayed in and applauded. He voted for her, and several other senators did. He got 53 votes. And the vice president had to break the tie because 3 Republicans came on with a very powerful moment
for an African American female Vice President of the United States to confirm the vote of the first black female to serve on the United States Supreme Court.
Well, it was a powerful moment, but I wanted to it was a very powerful moment, a real statement too, because the president, he said that's what he was going to do, and he got it done. And you know, so in some ways, you know, like I was finishing about Romney, you know, Romney is a flip and a flopper too. You know, it's like they flip and flop as opposed to staying straight to what's right and not, you know, the politics of the party line. And, you know, all of us, if we really just be honest with it, every one of us have conservative views.
Yeah.
We have conservative views. And then there are those of us have conservative and liberal views, right? Liberal on this, but very conservative on that. But that's the way we're made up as individuals, right? But let's just talk about when you want to tear down a person because it's not politically expedient for you to support this person, even though you know this person is qualified, you know this person got everything they need for the job, but because certain people say we don't want to support her because of, and so they vote that way because of. But then there were those who were independent, 3 of them, who said no, we're going to vote for her anyway. Even Joe Manchin came across a vote for her. All Democrats stuck together on the vote, but it shouldn't be about. And you know, the late senator said this, and I'm trying to remember his name. No, the senator who retired. We had him on the Northside Realtor. Johnny Ison. Johnny Ison said this. He said that when politics become solely Democrats or Republicans, and there's no bipartisan support, that's not representative of America.
Right.
Because America, he said when they brought him in, they told him, well, you got to be over here with this right here, you got to be, and he said John Lewis was his friend. You know, I mean, though he was a Democrat and he was a Republican, but they were friends, and they had the same ideology about a lot of things. They didn't agree about everything, but they had the same ideology. So why should my ideology is the same as he is, why should I not support what I believe anyway? You know, because somebody said I shouldn't do this because I'm now a Republican. I mean, so we have got to move away from just doing things because we want to be in with the in crowd.
I mean, even the Democrats, Dixiecrats with the Southern strategy, when things did not go their way, they did not walk off the floor.
Right.
I just think that we don't have to be in an ideological civil war. I mean, we can have different ideologies, and I think America and a democracy is about give and take. I don't like everything that I see in a democracy.
Whew.
I mean, but it's a democracy.
It is.
You know? And I don't like everything that I see in politics, you know. But, you know, the politics of this country, it's not my church. It's not my theology. It's you know, it's not a moral institution. As you know, I was debating my brother the other day about the morals. He said, I think you should talk about ethics because the whole thought of the political climate is immoral.
Right, it is.
You can't, you know.
You can make something immoral moral.
It's just the give and take of what it takes to make the sausage
right.
is going to be that. He said, so now you have to look at the ethical aspects of it. But, I mean, there are going to be some things that we don't have to go to war over it.
No.
Right now, this country is in an ideological war, Bishop. It's in a war.
It is.
And so walking off of that floor after that black woman was just important. I mean, if you don't agree with her politics, if you don't agree with, for whatever reason, but just know the American story, which is another thing. I know I don't want to jump capitals. That's the federal government. That's the U.S. Capitol. Let's come on back down to Georgia, where they passed this rule that we can't discuss, limiting what children can learn. So you're not setting them up to be objective and to be able to be citizens of the world, to be able to, you're setting them up to do the same thing that's happening in Russia right now. All the Russians right now think that the Ukrainians are under a fascist leader who is destroying them as a people, killing them in the streets, and that Russia is going in to liberate them. Why is that? And who is the real fascist leader? It's their president. Putin. It's the Russians doing it. But because the information has been cut off, then now that he's making them to be the fools of the world. Why do we want to create a generation of young people who will grow into this world not knowing that this country has an ugly past? But beyond its ugly past, it always had a bright future. And it had a constitution. And it was a system of laws. And we were able to work through many of the differences, and many of them we still have not worked through. But now they're turning back the clock, man.
Well, it's going to be turned back and turned back more, because when you have leaders who everybody see as the leaders, and then you see how the leaders are acting disrespectful. One, they were very disrespectful.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you agree with her confirmation or not, that was very disrespectful. This whole thing about not teaching critical race theory, you don't have to teach when you're talking about race, period, and you're talking about our history and teaching the history of slavery, and that in itself is a message of how we were treated as a people. I mean, even if the lesson of Dr. Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement, that's a lesson of how we were treated. I mean, so, but people are going to hear that and learn from those lessons and operate based on their own understanding of what happened. And then the things that happened to them. I remember my daughter told me this, and we'll wrap this up. And after this comment, she told me something. She said, a few years ago, she never experienced racism. She's now 41. Yeah, she's never experienced racism. She said, but Dad, she said, I was on a model train, and I'd sit in this seat. And she said, there was a Caucasian gentleman that was sitting in the seat. She sat down beside me. He said, hey, you can't sit down beside me. And she said, you said, what? He said, you can't sit down beside me. She said, it's a seat that I paid my money, you paid your money. Yeah, but you can't sit beside me because you are, and so she immediately, she got angry and wanted to lunch out at the gentleman. The N-word, lunched out on a model train. They were going up toward Alpharetta.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, but I'm saying, but you cannot, they have to, at their own experiences, their own life experiences will teach them about race and discrimination. And discrimination comes in all kinds of shapes, all kinds of forms. So, I mean, so the reality of it is they can legislate laws as much as they want to legislate laws, but people will find out the truth. And that's why I call it the demon dome. Because people be saying, well, this is the state capital. No, there are evil people doing evil things to good people under that dome. And that's why I'll forever say, people say, stop calling the demon dome. They pray for him. Well, Satan is going to be Satan. No matter how much praying you do, he's still going to be the devil. That's why he was kicked out of heaven. He ain't nothing but the devil, and his characteristics are going to continue to be those characteristics of Satan. And there are many of those people that are up there who carry on the characteristics of Satan.
Yes, sir. And don't forget, so now critical, I know we got to go, critical race theory is a systematic curriculum. But now they got it so that teachers are going to be afraid to even teach on current events that have to deal with race and issues of racism. And then we got that book banning bill. I need to see if that passed where they can ban, because they banned Dr. King's writings because ALEC is doing these bills. Just manufacturing these bills, and they just rubber stamping them through all these legislatures. And so there's a book banning bill. And so Dr. King's books have been banned, I believe, from a district in Tennessee, or from, I think, in Tennessee and some other states. And forgive me if I'm wrong, if it's not Tennessee, I don't have it. But somewhere in the South that they're banning Dr. Martin Luther King's books. So I know I learned how to read from two books. Frosty the Snowman, and the autobiography of Malcolm X. My cousin was teaching me Frosty. My brother, my oldest brother, was teaching me from Malcolm X. So I learned how to read between those two books. And I know Frosty the Snowman.
For a second. Stop to hold your point right there. What you just said, your cousin was teaching you one thing, and your brother was teaching you another thing.
My cousin was teaching me from one book.
And this is what we have to do. We have to. If they don't teach it in school, then we got to teach it at home.
Yeah.
So I mean, so we don't. You can't stop. You can't stop it. There's always a way of getting around anything. So you learn from your cousin and your brother, and that's what we got to get back in the home.
The Snowman and Malcolm
and Malcolm X. But the parents got to do what the parents got to do, and that's to train, to teach, and to educate. So listen. We're going to get ready to get out of here, Shanan and I. We got to go. Don't forget to like us. Don't forget to make comments. This ain't nothing but straight talk. Straight talk. That's all we do is talk. Straight talk. And send your comments in. And do give us the thumbs up, like us, and subscribe to our channel and share with your your YouTube family. Won't you do that? Until next week, God bless. And you stay strong. And you ain't been tuned to nothing but what? Straight talk.
Guest on Straight Talk? Email Craig Fann at FANN922 at Comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shanan Jones and Greg Fann, the Preacher Man.